Welcome to High Stakes. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn. On this show, I chat with authors about the moments in their stories that change everything, what's at stake, what it costs, and why we can't look away. From thrillers to romance to sci-fi and beyond. Let's get to it. Joining me today is New York Times bestselling author Susan Elizabeth Phillips to talk about her new sports romance, And the Crowd Went Wild. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Hi, Tracy. Good to talk with you.
It's always great to talk with you as well. Okay, so I have to start with the dog. Watch is a total scene stealer. I'm sure you know that. I loved him a lot, but I do have to ask you, did you and Jane Ann Krentz have like a secret squirrel meeting about making
Dogs.
2026 the year of the dog?
We did not. I mean, anytime you can put a dog in a book is really great. But in this case, I really needed the dog. I mean, it was important for the heroine's character development, it was important for the story. And I have not just any dog. Watch is a colossal mutt.
He's so great. And it turned out he was like this unofficial, like emotional support dog for Dancy. And I just the the opening scene between the two of them, I was like literally laughing out loud.
She does not like dogs, and she does not like stinky, dirty dogs that she finds at the side of a highway. And you
Yeah.
know what? I mean, I like dogs, but I don't want to go through that. So I totally identified with her.
Yeah, it was a great way to introduce the two together. So, but before we get much further into the story here and with and the crowd went wild, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself, just whatever you would like to share?
I have been writing for 1,000 years and try to hide that fact. My first book was published in 1989, I think. I mean, it's been a long time, but then I was 7 years old when I published it. But I started writing contemporary romance. I had written a historical romance at the time when those books were so hot and everybody was reading them, the true bodice rippers. But I always thought I had a contemporary voice. And so that was what led me into writing contemporary romance. What was interesting, I think, about my career is I never wrote series romance. And because of that, I didn't know there were rules. I never went to a writing group. I never read a book about how to write romance because when I started, they weren't really out there. So I'm a rule follower. And the blessing of my career was that I didn't know what the rules were. And this let me venture into interesting places, especially when it came to sports romance, which didn't, I mean, I think there was a one-off book here or there with sports, but it was not an area where there had been, readers weren't writing sports
Yeah.
heroes. And although I was writing other kinds of books, I don't think I would have started. It had to Fancy Pants, which was my first sports book, if I'd known that you weren't supposed to write about sports.
All those rules just waiting there to be broken, right?
The
It's
rule
just
was you don't
amazing.
write about sports. You don't have sport heroes. You don't have rock heroes or actors. Now, look at what we have now. I mean, we came in during the probably during the 80s when we started blowing the lid off what romance was and what it could
Mhm.
be. And of course, in the 90s, it took off. And now the sky's the limit. Digression here. Jane Ann Krentz has a very interesting theory about why so much experimentation has taken place in the genre, why we do such crazy, weird, wild things. And her theory is, and I think she's right, she's very smart, because romance was not covered seriously really until fairly recently. Nobody
Mhm.
was watching what we were doing. We were flying under the radar, and that kind of gave us permission to do whatever we wanted. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
the first like time travel romance, how big that was. And I mean, now with the dragons and romantasy and the social issue books, we can do anything we want.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like the kind of like the ones that you just counted off on your fingers about the actor and
The rock
sports and
star,
rock star.
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like you have broken all of those rules because I feel like you've had one of those
I've
at
had
least.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. And
Yeah.
I keep talking about this, but I don't know it's true. And I don't know if it's true and I don't know how to check it. My theory is that those rules came from probably series romance and Harlequin because their international sales were so big. And I'm sure they figured if you put an American sports
Mm.
star in a romance, it wasn't going to sell internationally. Well, let me tell you, my books disproved that. My second largest market is Germany.
Okay.
I mean, I have the books are published in 30 languages. And what is interesting to me, now you tell me if this is fair. So, over the years, I have had so many emails from readers telling me that I introduced them to American football. Readers staying up in the middle of the night to watch the Super Bowl or some kind of big game they started following. Has the NFL ever given me an honorary award? No, it has not.
I think they need to remedy that very, very
I do.
quickly.
I mean, they're sending all these teams over into Europe now. I don't think those stands would be full if it weren't for the Chicago Stars books.
I agree. I agree. I think we need to write to somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what can you tell us about And the Crowd Went Wild?
Well, this is, I hate saying, they list the books by series. They're saying this is the 11th Chicago Stars novel. And I don't know about you, but when I see a big series like that, if I didn't start at the beginning, I'm thinking, what am I going to miss? These books totally stand on their own. From the very beginning, I made sure that every book was complete in itself and no cliffhangers. I hate cliffhangers. Um, and so readers can jump into this series anytime they want. If you're reading them in order, yeah, a character may wander in here or there, but the books are self-contained. And the crowd went wild. We have this ex-Hollywood sex symbol, and she's got a broken heart at the beginning of the book. And our NFL quarterback has lost his game. We have a dog. We have an old railway car tucked away in the woods. Basically, these are two lost people who really need each other but are determined not to show it. The conflict between them was one I just loved being able to work with. Watching these people, both of them really good people, but watching the sparring between them and the antagonizing between them and the trash talk was just, I love that journey and I hope the readers are going to enjoy it too.
Oh, I know they will. The story was so much fun, and I really liked that whenever they first got together or, first met up, and I'll try very hard not to do spoilers here, but whenever they first got together, sometimes with stories, and this is fine, I love this too, but, they'll feel this old spark between
Oh
each
no,
other, and these folks, it took
no.
quite a while for that spark to reignite, which I thought was brilliant. Yeah, it was
I
great.
think every one of my books you have that. I'm not crazy about the instant spark because for me it takes the tension out of the book and I want that tension from the beginning. And
Hmm.
also in my books, the conflict between the hero and heroine is coming from the two of them. It's not coming really from a serial murderer on the loose or the external conflict. It's coming from the two of them. We're going to have external conflict, but that's the story I want.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the story I'm always going to tell. And if readers don't want that story, find another author because I'm always going to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, the title itself, I had in my mind the way that it was going to play into like the storyline,
Right.
but it didn't. But I love the connection that you made. It was just perfect, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what, some of the readers thought about it too.
Yeah, the title came very late. And once I came up with the title, I really saw how it applied to both of the characters. Um, and I don't know, I love that title. The minute I thought of it,
Yeah.
I had a lot of them I discarded. But yeah, it becomes important for both of the characters for the crowd to go wild.
Yes, it does. And the way you tied it up at the end for Dancy, I thought it was so, it really was so emotional, how you did that. I'm trying. I really
It
want to
was,
talk about this, Susan,
let me
but I
just say,
can't.
that was a lot of work.
I bet it was. I could totally tell that that was a
Yeah, it
lot
was a
of
lot of
work.
work, but it was so perfect for her. And I have an ancient degree in theater. My college degree is actually in theater. And so it was fun to be able to tap into that old part of myself
Mm.
and work with that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it was just, when you first started writing the novel, did you know that that was what you were going to do for her? Did you
Oh
know
yeah, I
that
knew it from the
was,
very, very beginning.
did
Oh
you?
yeah.
Okay,
No, I
okay.
didn't have any clue what was going to happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
That
You're an
is what
organic writer. That's right. You like,
Yeah,
yes. Okay.
totally.
All right.
And I really hate it. I hate my process.
Hmm.
And I kept thinking in the early days, the first 10 years, I kept thinking, this is going to get better, right? I'm going to figure out how to do it. Uh, but it didn't. It's the process. I know nothing. I know almost nothing when I start a book.
Yeah.
And it takes me about 9 months, I've discovered, to get to actually know who a character is, which I think is an interesting number. Um, and I was panicked through a lot of that book. How are
Hmm.
these two ever going to get together? Um, and so it is the when I'm writing a book, I just start with this core idea of a setup pretty much, but I have no
Hmm.
idea how it's going to unwind. And I find that absolutely nerve-wracking. My favorite part of writing, the part of writing I hate is a blank screen. The part of writing I love is revising and adding depth to the characters and making sure the setting is part of the book. I just love, love, love rewriting. And so many writers hate it, but that's what I love. That's my comfort zone. Don't give me that blank page. Just give me a page with anything on it, even if it sucks, and let me
I
work with
know.
it.
Well, I tell you're talking about process. I remember many years ago you gave a workshop at Windy City RWA, and you shared a tip that I have used on every book since. And I'm curious if you still sit down with a yellow legal pad when you're feeling stuck in a story. Do you still do that, or is that, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have a yellow legal pad and I start out and going, well, this sucks. Your career is over. I just discrete stream of consciousness. Well, what happens if Dancy does this? Well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. But what about this? Oh, maybe. And so I brainstorm on paper. This book, I must have gone through at least four huge yellow pads on this book because I was having such a hard time figuring out. I put these characters in a pretty good dilemma, how they were going to work their way out. And I think that that yellow pad is, for me, it's just being able to brainstorm on paper. It corrals. My brain is going like this. I think a lot of women's brains are going like
Yeah.
this, and to be able to corral those thoughts. I'm glad that helped you. By the way, every once in a while, a little dark head is popping up on your
Oh,
sofa. Is that
that's
your doggy,
Cooper. Yeah, that's
Cooper?
Cooper back there. Yeah, that's Cooper back there. He's my
Is
companion. Yeah.
Well, I have to interrupt for questions of my own. This is a
Yeah.
beautiful setting you have.
Oh, thank you.
Is this like a top floor writing studio?
It's above the garage. Yeah. It's a little
Oh,
area above the
it's
garage. Yeah.
gorgeous. How long
Thank
have
you.
you had this space?
We moved from Chicago to North Carolina about 6 years ago. And so yeah,
There.
this was my one thing that I wanted in the house. Everything else was, up for grabs, but this was the one thing that I really wanted in the house, to have
Oh, it
a
is just
place to
beautiful.
just go away and write. Yeah. Yeah.
And is that a Royal typewriter? What kind is it behind you?
It, oh, that's an Underwood.
An
Yeah.
Underwood?
Yeah, yeah, 1925 Underwood.
Boy, does that bring back memories. Not 1925, but I learned to type on one of those, the old Royals, and
Yeah.
in typing class, it was the most valuable class I ever took. With there were no letters and numbers on the keys. You had to do yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
of all the classes I took in high school, or probably college, that's the one I've used the most is my typing class.
It's true. It's true. I had a typing class too, and ASDF JKL Sim. It's just like I
Right.
still remember the home keys. After all of these years, and yeah, obviously we use it every day, don't we?
We do. And those old manuals, you had to really punch those keys.
Oh yeah.
And then I took a Smith Corolla portable, non-electric. That was what I took to college. I remember my first electric. I remember the old IBM Selectrics. I mean, I can
Yeah.
trace my career and the books all the way through according to the device. I remember the
Yeah.
first computer I got and how I was convinced it was going to destroy my process forever, and my husband said, "Well,
Yeah.
just pretend like it's a typewriter." Nostalgia. Well, I got us off track,
That's
didn't
huge.
I?
No, that's fine. I love it. That's always great. At the beginning of each chapter in this, you include a quote, or I think they call it an epigraph or some fancy name like that, from a book that's titled The Boxcar Children, by Gertrude. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Gertrude Chandler Warner. Um,
Yes. Tell us about
yeah,
that. Tell us how that
because we
all.
have a
Yeah.
railroad car in the book. Every chapter begins with a little quote from the Boxcar Children. And this is a personal thing for me because I was a reluctant reader. And when I entered first grade, I entered late because of a move, and everybody could read, and I couldn't. And we
Huh.
had tables one, two, three, four, and the smarter you were, table one. And guess who got stuck at table four? And it was humiliating. I still
Yeah.
remember from being 6
Mhm.
years old, and I couldn't read. And I had to be held in at recess. And I don't, and then in second grade, I don't remember too much. Reading was still a struggle. And then at the end of class, Mrs. Martin started reading a chapter at a time of the Boxcar Children. And to this day, I remember, I would have been 7 then, sitting in that chair and praying that the bell didn't ring.
Oh.
This was the book that unlocked the joy of reading for me. So when I thought about the railroad car, I thought, oh, can I do this? Could I actually find these quotes? Well, I mean, this is the book I was working with. It is all marked up. But then I realized I thought the book was in the common domain because after a certain number of years, books go into the common domain. So no problem, right? And then I realized the original Boxcar Children is common domain, but the book that we all read is not.
Ah.
So I tried to get rights to it. It was so complicated. So I went back to the original manuscript, which I don't know if it was ever published or not. I guess it probably was. And so every quote from the Boxcar Children is actually not from this book, it's from the original manuscript. They
Oh
were
my gosh.
close. I only had to lose one precious quote um, oh, this was so great. So Dancy and Clint are at it like this. And the dogs in the picture, they're at it like this. And the next chapter I had beginning with watched love these fine children. And it just cracked me up using that quote after this being so snarky. That
Yeah.
one I had to give up, but the rest of them were just
Oh. Yeah, no,
oh,
it was such a nice touch, and I really loved how your publisher Avon, how they put that little
the
caboose,
little box, yeah, the
yeah,
little
little
railroad
box
car.
car, yeah, little
Yeah,
box
yeah,
car
that
image
was
at
cute.
the top. That was a nice touch for sure. Well, on this show, we like to talk about a story's stakes. So, love, death, the fate of the realm are all high stakes, of course. But I'd like to talk about is what's personally at stake for your characters. And you can talk about Dancy, Clint, whoever you'd like to talk about.
Oh boy. He's lost his game. He's the golden child. He's the superstar. And he's trying to hide the fact last season did not end well for him. And he's trying to hide the fact that he just doesn't care that much anymore.
Mm.
And this is not him. So he's at a moment of crisis, made worse by the fact that he will not talk to anybody about it. This is something he's holding inside himself. So for him, those stakes are huge. This is his whole career and his reputation. Dancy has had, she's been divorced by her ex-husband, who looks a lot like Tom Cruise and like a very younger version of Tom Cruise, and is known for doing his own stunts. You can make of that what you will. He has left her for a younger woman, the old story, except it's made more complicated by the fact that Dancy has always wanted a child. And he agreed to it. And then he backs out, postpones. And the first time she sees the other woman, she sees she's pregnant. So Dancy has lost that dream of the husband, the child, and she's lost her career because she basically, her career was climbing. She was a Bond girl,
Mhm.
right? And she is at the height of her career on an upward trajectory when she meets him and basically turns her life over to making him, to supporting his superstar
Yeah,
status.
yeah,
She
yeah,
got nothing left. So the
yeah.
stakes for these both of these characters are pretty darn high.
Yeah, I wanted to reach through the book and just give him a little smack whenever
Yeah,
he told her why he didn't want to have a baby with her. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. I thought he was kind of a fun character to write. I
yeah, I
mean,
bet.
he's not an evil character. He's just weak. You know,
Yeah,
he's just a jerk.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and my most fun, though, probably was the character of the bimbo little girl he left her for. I really liked creating
Lisa.
that
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was great.
Lisa.
Especially, yeah, towards the end, I really liked her a lot too. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about her in the beginning
Oh
because she was so
no.
quiet, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
yeah, you were pretty sure in the beginning you did not like her. I'm fairly sure I didn't. And I'm not sure I liked her all that much at the end, but she became an interesting character to
Yeah,
me.
she did. She
Yeah,
did
and I
absolutely.
also like bringing Clint's mother in. Because I'm the mother of grown sons, I always love the mother-son relationship is something I really love writing. And Kristen is she is going to protect her baby boy against all enemies that she perceives.
Yeah.
And I love that character. She appeared for the first time in the previous book I see you have behind you, Simply the
Mm.
Best. She is a supporting character in that book. Clint, by the way, has made his first appearance in my book When Stars Collide, when he's just a young kid right out of college, a new starting quarterback for the Chicago Stars. And then we see him again in Simply the Best. And I knew that as much as I really didn't want to write another football book, I knew that the readers really had to have his story. So
Yeah.
that's what we dedicated and the crowd went wild to. But I'm done. I am done. The Chicago
You're
Stars are
done.
off the
That's it.
field. They're doing
Okay.
great. I'm done.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. She's done.
Yeah.
No more Chicago Stars. Well, I tell you, the interaction between Kristen and Dancy was really a lot of fun. I had to chuckle because it was just Dancy didn't let her get away with anything. You know what I mean? It's just she could
Right.
have, and she did a little bit in the beginning, kind of took a step back and
Right.
let the mom say what she wanted to say. But towards the end, it was like she was almost like challenging her and teasing her about her protectiveness, which was a lot of fun. It was great.
And I think envying it because
Mm. Oh, yes.
Dancy,
Yeah.
one thing in Dancy's
Yeah.
given it back, but she does respect Kristen as a mother because she did not have that for herself.
Right. Yeah. 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 A lot of trauma in both of their
Yeah,
past
yeah.
in different ways, for sure.
One
Well,
thing that I'd like to talk about a little bit, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the very first scene of the book, is I knew that at the beginning of this book, Dancy needed to fall even lower. And I was trolling around looking I had this idea of her being at this big ball, and I was
mm,
trolling around trying to, I believe that costume has to represent character. How you dress a character is really important. And I was looking around at gowns and things like that. And I hit the gown that Zach Posen designed for Claire Danes. I think it was the 2016 Met Gala. this was a blue dress, and Kirsten Dunst walked in it. They turned off the lights, and the entire dress lit up with
Yeah. Beautiful.
hundreds of little fiber optic lights. When I saw that dress, it was like that whole first scene came into my
Yeah.
head. Um, and the dress became really important to me in that book. And I loved that scene. I loved how it worked out. But it was all inspired by me seeing that dress.
That's
Seeing
something.
that picture was just like one of those gifts that a writer gets every once in a while.
It is so interesting how inspiration is sparked like that. And it created a Cinderella moment for her,
Yeah.
and then it changed to something really different for
Then the
her,
pumpkin
which,
arrives.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not a spoiler. It's in the very first scene in the book.
Yeah. All right. Well, I saw on your social media that you just finished your first 5K. I don't know if it was a run or a walk, but I saw it was a 5K, and I think you said you did like a 15-minute mile, so maybe a walk, which is amazing. That is just amazing.
Did you hear
S-
about the outcome though? I
I
won.
you were first
I
place,
won
yes,
my division. There
yes.
were two of us in the division. But
Hey, a win's a
to make it
win.
even better, I beat the man in our division too by 30 seconds. So how about
That's
that?
great.
And
I
believe
love
me,
it.
I did not run a single step of that. I walked
Okay.
the whole thing. It about killed me. I am not doing it again. I'm too competitive by nature. But it was kind
Uh,
of fun. And you know what else I'm doing for fun? I'm taking improv class now.
oh,
I
you would
am,
be great at that.
oh,
You
I'm
would be so,
terrible. I'm
oh,
one of the worst people in the class. I
you'll
don't
get that. You'll
care.
be great. Yeah, that's
It's
amazing.
it hits different parts of your brain. I think
Hmm.
it's just so much fun. And you know, I am old enough now that I do not care about making a fool of myself. I just have fun. So those are
That's
two
great.
things I've done this month or in January that were
Yeah.
just different kinds of things.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Do you have, because writing can be really tough on the body. Do you have like a daily regimen or something like
Oh my
that
gosh,
you,
yes.
yeah.
When I started writing all those years ago, I realized it was sedentary, and I do not like exercise. I'm on the mat pretty much every day.
Okay.
I used to do 2 yoga classes a week, but since I had my knee surgery, I only do one. And yesterday I did a 3 mile walk. I try to do at least 2 miles every couple of days.
Yeah.
Physical fitness is so important for writers, but it's mainly aging. As I age, I watch my mother with arthritis and osteoporosis and
Mm,
all those things, which I kind of have going on. But aging well, and it means, you know what, you use it or lose it.
yeah.
And I have a couple hiking trips coming up this summer that I'm going to be doing. So I
Cool.
hate it. I
Yeah.
hate getting on the mat every morning, but it has to be done.
Good for you for sticking with it and being determined to stick with it. All right. Well, before we go, can you share with us what's coming up next?
Oh, what's coming up next? I just am messing with right now. It's just a total disaster, and it's a standalone book. It's not Chicago Stars, and I mean, who knows? You know, every book I begin is going to be the end of my career, so we'll just have to see.
Okay, great. All right. Well, folks, be sure to order your copy of And the Crowd uh, Went Wild, sorry. And the Crowd Went Wild today. I can't wait for you all to read the epilogue. It's just pure perfection. I loved it. You can learn more about Susan at susanelizabethphillips.com. You'll find all of her social media links there, and be sure to sign up for her website. Susan, thank you so much for joining me. This has been such an honor and a joy, and you're just so much fun to talk with
Oh,
every time,
Tracy,
every
thank
time.
you. It's so good to see you again and see your lovely surroundings. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for today's high stakes story. Follow the show so the next episode lands right in your feed. And if you enjoyed today's chat, a quick rating or review helps new listeners find us. Visit tracydevlyn.com/podcast for show notes and links to today's amazing guest and their fabulous book. High Stakes is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. Thanks for listening. Until next time, enjoy the adventure, everyone.